All right, we're going to be doing a live cook-along in the doctor's kitchen with myself. My team kind of got some feedback from everyone, and they just want something that's completely unrelated to the negativity in the press right now and everything to do with the C word. So we're going to keep that free tonight, and we're just going to talk about how to enjoy some food at home, as I do all the time. You can probably hear in the background, I'm listening to Arjun's, one of Arjun's latest tracks called Tingo. It's a good friend of mine, and definitely go check him out if you are a fan as well. So, start off, we're just going to turn our pan on. I should probably tell you what we're going to be cooking. So, my little gastronauts, using a casserole dish or any pan. This is a beautiful pan I've got from Denby. Everyone should have a pan just like this. It's made out of iron, it's got a ceramic finish to it. It will last you an entire lifetime, I guarantee it. They're gorgeous and they're perfect for stews, which is exactly what we're going to be doing today. What we're cooking is saag chanas, or also known as Indian style stew with spinach, not saag, spinach and chickpeas, tons of different spices. So we do a little whiz around the ingredients, Keith Floyd style. We've got some pre-cooked rice that I'm going to serve this with. So this is just basmati rice with a little bit of wild rice, but you can use whatever rice you want. This is kind of like an all-in-one dish, so you don't need to serve it with rice if you don't want. We've got some coconut yogurt, regular yogurt will also work. Some spices, so we've got mustard seeds, fennel seeds, coriander seeds, cumin seeds, and some grated ginger and some white onion. Really important to get this lovely blend of different spices, but if you don't have these spices, do not worry about it. You could do it just with fennel and a little bit of chili. You could do it just with cumin. Some cardamom even would be very nice. It's a Punjabi style mix. You can also use like fenugreek and stuff like that as well, but I prefer to use this. Tons of spinach here, as you can see. So I'm going to put this into a dry pan now whilst I'm talking to you guys, and what that will do is wilt it. Now, I know a lot of you are saying there's nothing in the supermarkets, the vegetable aisle's been cleared out, yada yada, I get it. So you don't need to do it with fresh spinach. This will work just as well with frozen spinach as well, okay? So frozen spinach can work well with this. So don't worry if you can't find regular spinach or any spinach actually, like frozen greens would work. So frozen Swiss chard, frozen kale, loads of different items that you can use. So don't panic if you can't use a fresh green. The other good thing about using frozen greens is that they're convenient, first of all, but also they retain a lot of their nutritional value. So both the vitamin C content, but more importantly, the phytonutrient content as well. Because when we cook leaves like this, instead of eating them raw, we lose a lot of the vitamin C anyway. But it's more about the fiber and the other phytonutrients that we find there, okay? All right, so I'm just going to mix this around. What I'm going to do is just leave this in the pan with the lid on low heat. It's going to naturally wilt, and like I said, there's nothing else in this at this point in time because the whole process is just trying to wilt these. We're going to take it out, put it to one side, chop it up, and then get on with the rest of it. All right, so whilst I'm getting on with the rest of it, whilst that's wilting, I'm going to just do, the only chopping that's needed is, well, grating of the ginger, some white onion, and that's about it. So with the white onion, just using your fingers like a guard like this, so you don't have to take an unnecessary trip to A&E, which is where I am right now, because we don't want any more people come to A&E than we have to. So please be careful when you're at home. It's one thing I'm worried about. I've seen at the weekend I was working pediatrics, and I saw a lot of kids come in with injuries from just knocking into walls as they normally do. So just be wary of that. You don't want to take an unnecessary trip to A&E if you can help it. All right, so just finely chop the onion like I've done so. You don't need to be as quick as me, or you can be quicker than me if you like. All I've done is just do a nice fine dice. So this is, let me show you if I can see, this is the kind of dice that you're looking for, just very, very thin, like, you know, about 0.5 centimeters or whatever. And now I'm going to grate the ginger whilst we're waiting for the spinach as well. Just make sure you're just moving it around the pan a little bit so it doesn't stick to the bottom. but the natural water will release from the spinach and it will steam in its own. So you don't need to splash extra water in this, none of that business. All right, so with the ginger, wash some ginger. I'm just gonna grate it onto our board here. It's gonna go in a minute. And then a good bit of ginger. As we know, I don't really want to be talking about immunity at the moment because it conjures up a lot of connotation. I mean, we will do. We're going to be re-releasing an immunity podcast next week, so make sure you subscribe to that. And a whole bunch of really useful tips on the newsletter. So you can't swipe up, but we'll do a little link to the newsletter where we give you recipes every single week, and we're going to try and annotate it to what you can find in the supermarkets. Yeah, like all that content, it will be up there. But today we're just going to be talking about food, enjoying yourself at home, try not to look at the news. All right, put that to one side. Oh, I should say that I've got the chickpeas over here. It's just sitting in the sink here. I've just let it drain, so it's there. All right, so this will probably take about 5 minutes or so. I just realized I've used very appropriate music for tonight's live. It's Punjabi music, as you can hear in the background. And Arjun's probably going to come on in a second as well. All right, so maybe another minute. That'll give us a second to talk through our tomatoes. Now I've got these beautiful tomatoes here. I was very lucky to come across these. I don't think anyone knew what to do with them. They're like ugly looking tomatoes. I think they've come from Europe, but they are wonderful. It will be very hard to find these in the supermarkets these days, so do not worry if you can't get these. Chopped tomatoes, tinned tomatoes, regular tomatoes, baby tomatoes, whatever tomatoes you got will be fantastic in this. And even the canned tomatoes are high in terms of concentration of vitamin C. They also retain a lot of the phytonutrients, and cooking it releases the novel antioxidants that you find in tomatoes like lycopene and a whole bunch of others as well. So there are some benefits of having canned food as well. All right, so our spinach, as you can probably see here, is beautifully wilted. We're going to pop this into a bowl and just let it chill out there for a little while before we reintroduce this to the pan with the beautiful spices that we've got going as well. So you see that massive load of spinach that I just put in here has gone into this little bundle, but the nutrient value is still there. Apart from the vitamin C, the nutrient value is still there. Don't worry if some bits are not wilted or more wilted than others, because it's going to go back into the pan. Put that to one side. Into the pan, into a dry pan, we're going to toast our spices. Now, the reason why I toast spices, it brings out so much more flavor in there, okay? So, teaspoon of each. It releases some of the essential oils as well, so it makes your spices go a lot further. So, especially right now where, we might be cutting back on the extravagance of our food, that is a nice little tip. Just making sure you're toasting your spices. So, cumin goes in, coriander seeds goes in, mustard seeds, again, teaspoon of each, I'm just doing it by eye, goes in. Already, flavors hitting the kitchen right now, beautiful flavors. Oh, some fennel, again, teaspoon. This is like a classic mix. If you were to add ajwain or fenugreek to this, it would be your classic panj phoran, which is a Punjabi mix that is very, very popular in the cuisine. Move it around your beautiful pan here, and the smell coming off this is wonderful. You've got mustard seeds, coriander seeds, fennel, and cumin. If you only have 1 or 2 or 3 of those, this will still work, okay? Don't panic. It will still work. You'll be fine. I should stop saying don't panic. You don't need to panic. You're right. You're fine. No one's panicking. Okay, black pepper. Good few cracks goes in. Literally, all the spices only need about 30 seconds to get some of the aroma out of them. I'm using ghee today because my mum was around the other day and she very lovelily gave me some homemade ghee, and I bloody love this stuff. You can use coconut oil would work with this dish. You could use butter. You could use a regular unperfumed oil. And avocado oil would work well if you've got some of that. So I'm just going to move this around the pan. Fry the spices, infuse the oil, whatever fat you're using, with the spices in there. The ghee smells beautiful, honestly. Mum, thank you so much. A little bit more. We've got 2 tablespoons of the ghee. No, 2.5. It's good. It's good stuff. This will be enough to serve probably about 2 or 3 people. I mean, I would eat this all myself, but yeah. All right, so got the spices in here. You've got the ghee, 2 tablespoons, good pinch of salt, tiny bit more for measure. We're going to start frying off our onions and our ginger. Notice I'm not using garlic, the holy trio, because this dish doesn't really lend itself to garlic. You want something a little bit lighter in flavor, less pungent than garlic, and because I want the spices to come through. And I feel that if you were to put garlic in it, it's a bit too strong to have on its own. So always hold back on the garlic in this particular dish. I'm going to turn the heat slightly up and just let these spices mingle with everything else. Get to know the ginger, get to know the white onion as well. You can use red onion, you could use spring onion, loads of different varieties of ways in which you can really mix around this dish and make it your own. So we're going to let those look after each other for a bit. We've got our chickpeas that have come from a can. You can make them fresh. If you are making them fresh, which I do actually, I think right now when we have got a lot more time, when a lot of us are working from home, myself included, I work currently part-time, probably going to go a bit more full-time given the current scenario, which we're not going to be talking about. If you're going to be working from home, a very cool thing to do is get the raw chickpea themselves, so that the hard stuff that you find in big packets in the supermarket, they're still there because most people are going for the canned stuff. The raw chickpeas, soak it overnight and then cook it in a pan just like this Denby here for about 2 hours, simmering away on a low heat, and you will get a completely different experience to the chickpeas that you have in cans and in jars. It's so much more textured, it's got a little bit more bite to it, and the flavor is incredible. Plus, you can use the water called aquafaba, as an egg replacement as well. So it's actually a way of like doubling it, and you'll get so much more for your money using the raw chickpea. So please do. I'll probably put a little document actually on the next newsletter, thedoctorskitchen.com. Check that out, and then there'll be loads of ways in which you can use like raw pulses. Because it's a great. I think right now, whilst we're obviously very scared and working from home, there are opportunities to have a little bit of play at home in the kitchen, a little bit more time spent in the kitchen, and you know, I think there are things that we can try and do and try and help us as we get through this short-term period, and I stress short-term. All right, so we're gonna chop up these tomatoes roughly whilst these are all coming together. I mean, it smells incredible already. The onions have taken on all of that flavor from the ghee as well. You want them to get a little bit of color, but not too much. I just want to show you what it looks like here. So you've got everything mingling together. Okay, right, I'm going to chop these tomatoes up. And I want the tomatoes to still retain some bite. So I don't want them to become too complex and mushy and mushed all around. I want it to be, I want them to hold their structure a bit. I'm going to go ham on the tomatoes here. One thing I always like to do is get 3 portions of vegetables per person in each serving, and that's actually something that we're going to be doing in the Doctor's Kitchen a lot more over the next couple of months. It's related to a big project that I've been working on for the past 4 or 5 months now, maybe even longer than that, where we're trying to get more vegetables into people's diets, because that is really key, and I think it's an unrivaled opportunity to try and do just that right now whilst, you know, we knuckle down for a bit. So yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing a lot more stuff about that project with you guys, and a lot more a lot more content around that too. I'm actually going to be quite busy during this period, obviously being on standby to do more work at the hospital and primary care, but also like hunkering down and doing a bit more content on the podcast and stuff. I'm sorry I can't see questions or anything like that at the moment because it's really far away. But all right, so chickpeas go at this point. Got the onions going, sticking a little bit to the bottom of the pan. That's fine. That's all good. It's all going to come off in a second. All right, chickpeas go in. We want these to mingle again with the spices, with the onions. Don't want to waste anything. Bring all of that flavor into the chickpeas. Mix it around. Don't mix it around too much because you don't want to squash the chickpeas. But let them mingle together for about a minute, and then we're going to chuck in our tomatoes, and it's going to be. It's all going to come together. I'm going to try and read some of your comments. I love that the spices are mingling. Yeah, Tammy, they are definitely mingling. And chickpea tip, yeah, the chickpeas are fantastic. I really do. I'm a big fan of chickpeas, but any bean, actually I should have said this, any bean will work. So if you've got black beans, if you've got kidney beans, if you've got like kidney beans, we use that in Punjabi cuisine as well. We call it rajma. There's loads of different beans that you can use to, even lentils would work in this as well. So don't feel that you're limited if you don't happen to have a can of chickpeas. And be grateful for the fact that we've got food. We've got an abundance of food here. We're not going to run out. The supermarkets and the heroes that stock our shelves, man and women, our checkout tills, you know, they are the true unsung heroes of this current scenario. And I really do mean it when I say I salute them because they're incredible. The work they're doing is amazing. And it's just as important as frontline, as the police, as the teachers, as the social care workers and beyond. Okay, fine. So tomatoes going in, all right? Tomatoes are not a typical ingredient of this particular dish, but when you have tomatoes and they're as beautiful as this, you want to use them because why not? They're incredible. Absolutely incredible. Okay, let these mingle together. And then, like I said, we're going to go back to our spinach that we've already wilted. And think about the time. I've only been cooking for about 20 minutes, right? 20 minutes. Not even. 18 minutes. Okay, put this here. All right, so we've got our spinach. We're just going to roughly chop one way. Finger guard, finger guard. I should probably explain that a little better. Your finger is like this, and when you have the knife, it's flat. So you're not going to cut your little fingies, tuck them in, and there you have that. And then, so we've done it that way, you're going to do it the other way, so it's like a crisscross pattern. And what you're left with are these little nuggets of spinach that are already beautifully wilted. The reason why I do it this way is because, and I do it the other way as well, I do just chuck it in at the end, but doing it this way means that it all goes in, mingles, wilts wonderfully. I can take this off the heat. I don't need to mess around and like mix it up and mush the chickpeas. The texture is a lot better. And I've used 100% of the tomatoes and everything here. So there's nothing going to waste. Okay, this is beautiful. It smells wonderful. It looks incredible. Chickpeas, tomatoes, protein, spices, phytonutrients, everything you want. Flavor. No garlic. No. You don't want to. Oh yeah, garlic was in the list of ingredients. That was my bad. Sorry. No garlic in this one. Yeah. Sorry. I didn't realize the list of ingredients. Slightly incorrect. Apologies for that. And then also the other thing is the coconut cream. You can put coconut cream at the end here. I'm actually just going to serve it with some coconut yogurt because coconut yogurt was the only thing I could find. So again, I'm adapting the recipe depending on what I could find in the supermarket today because I was out most of the day. Yeah, I know, seasonal tomatoes. I'm very lucky. All right, so this is going to go, this is off the heat now. Turn the heat off. Everything's mixed together. All right. In go the pre-wilted spinach particles. Particles? Not really suppose, it's not very foody. That goes in. The mixture is no longer sizzling. I know you probably can't hear that because I'm listening to Arjun on the radio behind us. Tiny little mix rounds. Okay. Look at this. All right, this is your chickpeas and spinach stew, Indian style, also known as saag chanas. Beautiful mixture here. You could use it with chopped tomatoes. You could add some coconut cream. You can make it a little bit, you can make it go further by adding some veg stock, simmering it for another 5 minutes so it has a bit of a sauce. But I like it a little bit dry like this, with a little bit of, well, it's not dry, it's got some moisture, but it doesn't have a sauce. Because I'm going to serve it with wonderful rice, a little bit of coconut yogurt on the side, and I know this is very polarizing for a lot of people, but it's just coriander. It's just a little bit of coriander. So he's not here to hurt anyone. Coriander, I love. It's a fantastic source of phytonutrients in a similar family, in a similar way to parsley, basil, rosemary. They are just as impressive when it comes to a phytonutrient profile and the benefits to health. Please do try and get some more herbs into your diet. Spices will also work as well. If you can't find fresh, that's completely fine. There are lots of different varieties out there dried as well. And it does, for me, it really does make the dish like having a little bit of coriander at the end, but these are frugal times, so this is literally just like a topping right at the end. Alrighty. Alright, that is it. Little bit of coriander on the end. Thank you, Mum, for the ghee. Very nice ingredient, but you can use coconut oil as well. I should have said I washed my hands at the start. Okay, and that is it. That is saag chanas right there. Coriander, we've got the spinach, you've got the tomatoes, beautiful tomatoes, chopped tomatoes can be used as well. Really hope you enjoyed that. I will try and make this recipe available on YouTube as well. It's on the newsletter, it will be on the newsletter, and a whole bunch more content as well. We're going to be doing an immunity podcast next week. We're going to be doing more sort of gratitude posts because I think it's a bit of a difficult time, and I think right now, rather than me repeating a lot of the advice that you'll see already on news websites, I kind of want to be a little bit of a haven to the information out there and just give you some positive vibes, because I think we all need a little bit of positivity in our lives right now. Really appreciate it. I will be back probably at some point, depending on whether you guys want me to do more of these, less of these, whether you find it annoying or not, whether you find it helpful. Please do let me know. Any ingredients, just send them my way and I'll try and make some recipes using the ingredients that you guys are struggling with or have or don't have, whatever, just let me know. All right. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Appreciate the support, and be kind to everyone and practice gratitude. Really do appreciate it. Have a good time, guys. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy your dinner. I'm going to enjoy this. Thank you so much for watching this video. There's so many others for you to enjoy right here. Check out thedoctorskitchen.com. Sign up to the newsletter where I give science-based recipes every single week. There's a podcast, there's 2 books, there's loads more content on social media, doctors_kitchen, and I hope to see you there.